Welcome back, dear grade 9 students, and after we've talked about approximation, we are going to talk about rounding. Rounding is a little bit different from approximation, and here we go with how to round irrational numbers. If I have that irrational number that's 8.464101 whatever, and I'm going to round it to the nearest unit. So as approximation, I have to specify the digit I'm going to round. And here I'm going to round to the nearest unit, means the number just before the decimal point, the integral part, which is here 8. So let's make a deal. The number colored red is the number required to be rounded, and the number colored green is the number that is after the required digit. And that number after the required digit is all the story. So all what I have to do now to round is to look at the number after the required digit, which is 8, and that number is 4, and I have to compare it with 5. If that number is less than 5, then I keep 8 as it is. If that number is greater than 5, then I have to add 1 for the required number or the required digit. So again, here it is 8.4 and so on. I have to round the unit part, which is 8. The number after that 8 is 4. Since 4 is less than 5, then the rounding here is 8. The rounded answer is just 8. I keep 8 as it is. I don't subtract 1, but I still keep it as it is. Let's see if we have 8.76410, etc., and I'm going to round it again to the nearest unit. If I look at that unit and I look at the number after it, it is 7. Now what about 7? 7 is greater than 5. Then all what I have to do to round that number is to add 1 for 8, because the number after it is greater than 5. So it becomes 9. And that's how to round to the nearest unit. So the idea is just to compare with 5. If the number after the required digit is less than 5, keep the digit required as it is. If the number after the required digit is greater than 5, then we have to add 1 for that required digit. Let's continue. I have to round 8.46210, etc., to the nearest tens. Where is the tens? It is 4. So I just look after the number. After 4. So here is the tens digit, and here is the number I have to look at. It is 6. What about 6? 6 is greater than 5. Then 4, the required digit, the red one, is going to be increased by 1, and thus the answer is 8.5. So again, if I have this example 8.462101, etc., and I'm going to round it to the nearest hundredths, the hundredth digit here is 6. So I just look at the number after it. It is 2. What about 2? 2 is less than 5. Then is 6 going to be increased or stay as it is? What should happen to 6? 2 is less than 5. Then is 6 going to be increased? No, it stays as it is. And the answer rounded is 8.46. Here is another example to make things clear. I have 3.4627001, and I need to round it to the nearest thousands. The thousandth digit is 2. Then I look after it. The number after it is 7, which is 5. So what's going to happen to 2? Is it going to stay the same, or it's going to be increased because the number after it is greater than 5, then it's going to be increased by 1. Let's continue about special rounding ideas. What about special rounding? Let's see. For example, if I want to round 1.497101, etc., it's irrational, of course, not limited after the decimal point, to the nearest hundredth. Where is the hundredth digit here? It is 9. So I have to round 9. I have to look at the number after 9, which is 7. What about 7? Is 7 less than or greater than 5? Surely it's greater than 5. Then what's going to happen to 9? I'm going to add 1 for 9. So 9 will be 10. That 0 is here. And 1 is going to go to 4. So I'm going to get 50. And the rounded answer is 1.50. So again, because 7 is greater than 5, then I add 1 for 9. Then 9 becomes 10. So 0 here and 1 goes to 4. 1 plus 4 is 5 and the final answer is 1.50. That's the rounded final answer. So that's what we mean by special rounding in case we have 9 and we are going to add 1 for it. Another example. I have to round 1.4597 etc. to the nearest thousandth. Then I have to look at the thousandth digit, which is 9. Again, I have 9 here. So I look at the number after 9. It is 7. So definitely I'm going to add 1 for 9. What happens? It becomes 10. So 0 here we put it, and we put 1 for 5. Then 5 is gonna be added by 1. It's gonna be increased by 1. And then I will get 1.460. So because 1 is added to 9 and we get 10, then we add the 1 for 5, and that's the answer. Let's continue more examples on special roundings. For example here, I have to round 8.499601 to the nearest thousandth. Again, I have to look at the thousandth digit, which is 9. Now I have to add 1 for 9 because again the number after it is greater than 5. So it becomes 10. But there is another 9 here. So 1 goes to 9, then it becomes 10 again. So I still have 2 zeros here. What happens to the final one? It goes to 4. So again, adding 1 to 9, it becomes 10. Then adding 1 to 9, it becomes 10. So 1 goes for 4 and it becomes 500. And the answer is rounded to be 8.500, as you are going to see here.